All right, folks, it took a very long time last night for the NFL to say the game was not going to continue. Today, there was a call where former NFL player and NFL executive Troy Vincent said this. This is from Eon Rappaport. Troy Vincent on a call says, while he was in constant communication with those involved, neither coach was talking about resuming play. The players weren't. It was really about Damar. How do you resume play after you've seen such a traumatic event? Okay, here's the problem with that, okay? That's not what ESPN was saying last night. In fact, this is a statement that the folks at ESPN put out with regards to last night. Now, remember, they were live on the air, and they were actually in communication with league executives about what was going on. And what we kept hearing was that they were going to take a 5-minute break and then come back. This is what ESPN put out. There was constant communication in real time between ESPN and league and game officials. As a result of that, we reported what we were told in the moment and immediately updated fans as new information was learned. This was an unprecedented, rapidly evolving circumstance. All night long, we refrained from speculation. Now, I'm bringing in Mustafa, Randy, and Michael in this. Jemele Hill stays with us. Jemele, somebody lying.
I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Like, somebody is not quite being truthful here, or either, I know it's hard to believe in an organization as big as the NFL, $1 billion organization, but clearly the left hand and the right hand were not communicating, because even independent of the ESPN report, let's all go back. As soon as they said that, hey, they're giving the guys 5 minutes, what did you see? You saw players and personnel start to get activated on the field as if they were about to play the game, until we saw the coaches approach
which we all know
and say, we're not doing it.
We all know, watching NFL, when the players go back, when the quarterback is tossing the ball, and they're warming up.
Right, exactly. And that's what I didn't see Josh Allen specifically, but I saw players looking like they were warming up and about to play the game. And all of us watching at home are thinking, are they crazy? Like, there's no way that something this traumatic could happen on the field, and these guys would be in empty mental shape to play a football game.
Jemele, we just showed the timeline.
Last night and not this week.
We just showed the timeline.
Exactly.
Here's the timeline. Put it back up, y'all. So he gets injured at 8:55. It collapses, okay? Game is temporarily suspended at 9:18. The game is not officially postponed until 10:01. It don't take that long. And what you saw was, and they had the video. They had the video, Jemele, of Joe Burrow going to the Bills locker room. The coaches going. It was clear. The coaches and the players are like, damn them, we ain't continuing this game.
Which is kind of the whole problem, Roland, is that this should never have been a decision that needed to be left up to the players and coaches. They never should have even had to do that, to advocate for themselves. The league should have done this pretty immediately, because it was pretty clear to all of us at home, pretty clear to anybody with common sense, hey, don't play.
Yep, that's it. This right here, Randy, when you talk about leadership, this is failed leadership. And here's the other deal, Randy. Troy Vincent should not have been on a phone call today. This is where the NFL commissioner should have been out front and center.
I think we have to be honest about the NFL's history. There is a racist history from the beginning when you look at the NFL. And I believe last night what we saw is that sometimes they don't see our men as people. They don't recognize that they're going to have feelings after this. You know, I've actually been thinking, I hope that they're offering therapy to players, not just that played last night, but across the entire league. I believe that they see dollar signs. I think they see them sometimes as people who just do a job and make a lot of money, and not as human beings. And last night, what we saw, when we saw the way that those players reacted, seeing their colleague on the ground after a cardiac arrest, we see that they are human, that they care. But I don't believe that the NFL has ever shown that they see the same thing that we did.
Mustafa, what often happens is when it comes to these teams, guess what? Go to commercial break, gather yourself. We got commercials, we got fans, we got to go back to playing ball.
Yeah, the NFL has always suffered from a plantation mentality. They see individuals who are playing on their teams as these cogs that can be placed in and out whenever necessary. And as long as we allow that to continue to happen, then we're going to continue to see these types of egregious sorts of actions that go on. So I continue to send up prayers. I'm sure everybody else does for Brother Hamlin, that he heals. But the NFL also has to be willing and interested in changing the roots of where they come from and how they interact with these young men, and the value that they no longer see in them. Now, they see the value when they have something to give, but in their whole humanity, I'm not sure if they see the value that's necessary in honoring them as human beings, and especially as men of color, since that's the majority of the NFL.
Michael, they're not going to do it, but there should be an absolute investigation into what the hell happened, why it took so long.
Right, Roland, and I think a lot of it has to do, and Jemele's talked about this on several occasions, is the business model of the NFL is different than the NBA and Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball and the NBA, those large contracts from basically the top superstar all the way down the bench are all guaranteed money. The NFL, only the top stars are guaranteed money, and only a few of them, it's 100% guaranteed. So, for example, if Patrick Mahomes, for example, he's a bad example, for another quarterback that may have a $200 million contract, 100 million and some change may only be guaranteed, but not the full 200. So as you get further down the superstar line, down to the kind of rank and file player, they're not making as much. I know some of the people at home think, oh, they're an NFL player, they're millionaires. That's not true. And I think if the business model change of the NFL, you would see more humanity, because they would see their players as partners like the Major League Baseball and the NBA do with ownership. In the NBA and the NFL, it is much like that plantation mentality. And that's why what happened last night, though I think we still have to give credit to the NFL last night for the medical attention that was given to that young man.
Yeah, but let's be clear. That medical attention, you know this very well. That's also been negotiated by the NFL Players Association.
Right. Well,
to have ambulances there, to have, because again, anybody who's followed the NFL for the last 20, 30 years, ain't like they really have been that focused on player safety.
No, but you're correct about
it's negotiation.
Actually, well, now hopefully when the next CBA comes, we'll talk about maybe a greater share of economics to the players.
But here's the deal, though. But there is guaranteed money in NFL.
I didn't think it wasn't guaranteed.
No. Hold up, Michael. I got this. Let me do what I do. Jemele, there's guaranteed money. The guaranteed money is the TV contracts going to the owner, which is their way of making sure there's never going to be a strike because they get their money up front. So they always protect it. You did a podcast where you talked about the college players. When you said the only way this game changes is when the players go, nah, we ain't going out there. They have to force the change. That's the only way it happens.
Well, and it's unfortunate. And as Michael just alluded to, here's a major problem with that economic structure and why it constantly works in favor of the owners. See, to be able to sit out during a strike, everybody's got to have money.
Yep.
And the reality is the distance between what the quarterback makes versus what the guy who's second or third string or on the practice squad makes is so significant and so stark that they can only afford to hold out for so long. And the NBA is different because you have the average salary, I believe, is almost $3 million a year per player. $3 million will carry you a whole lot longer than, say, $300,000 or $400,000 a year will. Or if you're on the practice squad and you're only making like $7,500 a week or something like that. So this is why the players are in a much different bind. And that's why they not only need a collective strategy in terms of player empowerment, what they need is they need the highest paid players in the game to be the leaders. They need the Tom Brady's, they need the Patrick Mahomes, they need the quarterbacks to put pressure on the owners. Otherwise, they will never get the system that they truly deserve. But as long as the quarterbacks are segregated and treated as a special and different class and set apart from the rest of their teammates, I don't know how much faith I have in that actually happening.
Yep.
But the quarterbacks have got to be the center figure of this. They've got to be the face of player empowerment and player involvement, because realize the quarterbacks are protected now. All right. You see what happens when you get close to a quarterback in the league these days. It's a whistle.
Yep.
Like they protect those guys at all costs. That needs to be the case for everybody on the team. And
Absolutely.
I'm not just talking about hits. I'm talking about in terms of medical care, all these other things that the players need to fight for to have a stronger voice in the league that they have made billions of dollars for.
Indeed. Jemele Hill, we surely appreciate you joining us. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.